Portugal miracle and share my screen on Zoom as well in just a moment. I just need to make sure we're going out on YouTube. Please, Expats Portugal members, do say hi, and also, of course, your all important questions for the town hall session. YouTube is as cold as the weather has been in Portugal, although it's been lovely and sunny here today. What a lovely, beautiful, sunny day. One of the 300 days of sunshine here in Portugal. Right, okay, we're underway. Where have you gone? Oh, there you are. There's Jerry. We're going to see a little bit more of Jerry in just a moment. If I bring onto my screen my presentation for this evening. Right, let's just do that. Share button. Presentation. Very good. Okay. Let's go into share mode on this then, or presentation mode. And the first bit of news to share with you this evening is, am I sharing the Zoom presentation now? Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, let me just unshare that and start again. Oh no, that is the presentation. You are seeing that, are you not? And let me just go to full screen then, and I think we shall be there. There's so many tabs open on my... There we go, there's Jerry. Looking fantastic.
Careful, Carl.
Well, having so many tabs open.
Yeah.
Right. My off-license order and my pizza order and all those things on there. Right, okay. Here we go. I got a message over the weekend. Jerry's on the TV, and so he was on SIC Noticias. When was this, Jerry? When did this actually go out on transmission?
It went out on Saturday. Saturday just gone.
Yes.
It was recorded, I think, about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, but it went out on Saturday just gone. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I'd totally forgotten about it until I got a message from Gilda. I was happily watching something on Netflix or something, and all of a sudden, Gilda sends me a text saying, "You're on TV."
Yeah,
First I
people's
knew
phones were
about it.
pinging all over the place in our world, weren't they? And it was for a really quite a significant television piece, a package, as I think they call it in their industry. Sonhos sem fronteiras, porque aqui milhares de estrangeiros estão lá em Portugal para passar a reforma. And yes, having done my best there. Let me give you the translation. Dream without borders. Why do thousands of foreigners choose Portugal to retire? And it was a pretty good piece, wasn't it, all in all, Jerry? I think it was quite fair and mixed, and there was quite a lot of information and different viewpoints of people on why they were choosing Portugal.
It was. It was a little bit sad because there was a lady, I think she was an English lady, who you didn't see her face, you just see her from the back of her head.
Yeah.
But was extremely distraught because she's been caught up with this AIMA problem where she hasn't been able to renew her residency.
Yes.
And she was very nervous about being able to leave the country and come back in and so on. So when I saw that, I went back to the TV company and said, well, look, maybe we can help. I know there's great lawyers in Lisbon. I think maybe there might be something we could do here.
Yeah.
But it turned out that the problem has already been resolved. She already got her appointment. So that was good news. Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that part of the package, and she was running the gauntlet basically, wasn't she? She hadn't had her card, her paperwork renewed, so she was facing anxiety basically every time because she needed to go back and forth to UK and face that problem every time on the border there. So thankfully, well done, thanks for following that up. That's all been sorted out now. So there you go, Jerry on SIC Noticias over there. At the weekend. So congratulations on that, Jerry. And signed photographs, of course, will be available from the Expats.
Well, actually, I mean, I don't know about signed photographs, but if anybody wants to see the full article, which is in Portuguese in the main, although not my part, I hasten to add, it's on our forum, although we've got a few problems with our forum tonight. So take a look tomorrow. You'll find it on our forum. I think Astrid has posted it.
Actually, it's a good thing to watch to learn a bit more language as well. It's good to follow because you've got to pick up on some of the words that you already know and take it a stage further by watching that. So thanks very much, Jerry. Well done on that one. We'll be returning to the media in just a moment after this fantastic news. Not just for Portugal, it's the Iberian Peninsula. It's Spain and Portugal. And we see here the Iberian miracle amazes Europe, Spain and Portugal, the engines of the Eurozone economy. I didn't see this coming. It's not that I wasn't you know, I didn't have a negative view about this. It's just a nice surprise, as I think it has been for other people. But economists warn it's not enough on its own to avoid recession. Spanish newspaper El Economista has described the Iberian miracle, which has saved Europe from recession so far, with the economies of France and Germany in the doldrums. Spain and Portugal responsible for 50% of the Eurozone's growth in a certain period there. And you can see on that little bit of a graph there, and I'll put the link to this in the chat. Portugal and Spain. Portugal on top, actually, there. Portugal, Spain, Italy, and then France and Germany struggling. And we're with Italy, Portugal and Spain are way above the Eurozone average there. I'm just looking at the tendencies and the placings. I can't make sense of that graph, I'm afraid, but others might.
May I interrupt just to say something?
Please do.
Actually, I saw something, it was not this one, but it was something similar. And I bet that this doesn't, it's not unattached from what is happening with foreigners that are choosing now the south of Europe to live.
Yes, I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yes, it does. It does. Yeah. Because the tourism has increased. The foreigners that chose Portugal to live, the number has increased a lot, like doubled in the past two years. And then after Portugal, we have Spain and Italy that are the most wanted countries for retirement after Portugal. And if you check this graphic, it's exactly on that sequence. So I think this has a lot to do with expats fixing their lives in these countries, and also when they come as tourists before that.
I think you're right, Gilda. No, I mean, by all means, Dream Team, if you've got anything to add to these news picks that we start the town hall with on a Thursday night, please do. We're going to stay with you, Gilda, because you're in the media as well, of course, this week. But Jerry, stand by from calls from all over Europe now to be on TV shows, possibly with this particular news. The Iberian miracle, everybody, where Portugal is leading the way. That's some lovely news to report there. And then finally, look at this. I think it's 10 plus pages in Vision magazine for Portugal, right, Gilda? And you're featured here. You can see a beautiful photograph of you there and history repeating itself. And again, more coverage of people choosing Portugal to move to. How was this process for you being in the media? Are you being stopped in the street and noticed in newsagents now, Gilda? Or any more than normal, I should say?
Much more than normal.
Right.
Well, everything started with the challenge of starting to write some opinion articles to the media. And then suddenly it seems that all the newspapers and televisions want my opinion and are asking for testimonials from our clients. This is, as you said, it's about, I think, 14 pages, this article.
Yeah.
And if you are able to see, maybe then you can send the link of the entire magazine to Jerry. It's very interesting because some of them are from the Expats Portugal.
Yep, superb. That's what we like to hear. And of course, anyone seeing this video, become an Expats Portugal member and you'll be able to work with EI and get a bit of a discount there as well by being an Expats Portugal member. So great news. Jerry, did you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, but yes, just I totally agree with Gilda's comment. Carl, please send me something, and I will post that on the forum for everyone to see.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
And please, if you're watching, grab a copy of the magazine as well. It's great to read a Portuguese magazine from a learning the language point of view, and you'll see some places you might be familiar with. My town is featured. I was looking at the article, at the PDF. I know that beach. And it was San Martino de Porto in there as well. So there'll be places you recognise. There'll be words, the beginnings of words and sentences that you recognise. So why not buy Vision? Is it the current? I think it is the current one, isn't it?
It's the current one. It just got out today.
Wonderful. All right, so there's your news. Let's stay with you again, Gilda, and find out how you're doing. What's been going on apart from being in the media and being asked for comments and testimonials? What else is happening for you?
Well, everything is going better than before. So as I've been keep saying this since the beginning of the year, and it was my hope last year, and fortunately, things are happening, are moving slowly, but improving.
Yes, a good sort of steady sense of improvement. This is what we want, isn't it? Fantastic. I've just noticed there are reaction emojis and things. If people want to experiment with those, feel free to do so. I'm not sure exactly what happens, but it's a bit of fun whilst we're here every Thursday evening from 9 until 10. So anything else to report, Casa Portuguesa or from EI? Or just, I mean, is it just good to report that there's a nice, slow and steady progress in the right direction?
Yes, it is.
Excellent. Great. Good to have you here.
And sorry, just I don't know if we already talked about this, but the opposition, the government opposition, the other party, which is PS, they now came with these new measures for immigration, and I got the chance to make a comment on those. And yeah, and I think that they are pretty good measures. But the most important thing is that we can see that the biggest parties in Portugal are starting to get aligned with the migration issues. And this is something very interesting, and I think it's going to be good for all of us.
Yeah, and I quite like the Daniel might want to comment on this, talking about the law, of course, and the constitution and politics. The position that the Portuguese government took on tariffs and the EU, I also thought was very interesting, very calm. The word serene being used as Portugal's response to a lot of the tariff hysteria and so on. So well done, Portugal, at the moment. So much good news to be able to share with you. That's wonderful. Thanks, Gilda, for the time being. Let's go to Nuno, who's going to be with us just for a moment. You've had some a challenging dental surgery today. It's good of you to be here at all, frankly, Nuno. Good evening to you. Boa noite.
Hello, good evening, everyone. So yeah, I did today a tooth extraction, so I'm going to leave you with Pedro and Sandra.
And Amelia as well. So, Amelia is also here.
Okay. I didn't know. Thank you for knowing me, Carl. But well, about news. So I've told here that the aging of the population is bringing challenges to the country and to the institutions, both governmental and private. And we are assisting to more and more home hospitalization proposition from hospitals, from the private sector. So this is something that we are really need. The Hospital do Porto, so Porto's hospital, has announced some developments about the Alzheimer's disease also. And yeah, we know that insurance premiums are increasing, but also we had today news about the renal cancer vaccination developments with very good performance. So yes, they are increasing, but we are getting better and better healthcare. Just a curiosity, because yes, it's true that the expats community, this expat community, has some challenges to Portugal regarding property costs and so on. But we know today in the news that Portugal faced 254 cases of feminine genital mutilation, which is completely forbidden in Portugal. But this is just to know that, yeah, we are facing challenges to being more and more open to different expats communities. Okay, let's do it.
Okay. Push back on that. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you, Nuno. You take it easy. I thank you for being here at all, as I say, after the day you've had, and your team will be here to answer any question. Pedro, Sandra, and Amelia will be here from insurance, answering any questions you've got to ask about insurance here on the town hall session. You take it easy, Nuno. As melhoras.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Okay,
abraços.
And by the way, I'm going to save Gilda's and Jerry's autographs
Yes.
So maybe I could earn some money.
I think it's a good idea. It's a wise investment at the moment. That's right. Very, very well spotted. And watch out for those on OLG in a couple of months' time. Okay, brilliant. eBay, Google, whatever. Cheers. Take care, Nuno. All right. Thank you very much. José's response to that, kind of scary actually. Yeah, there are many sides to it, aren't there? The interest in Portugal. Let's enjoy as much of the upside as we can. And you say, although of course I'm very happy for Portugal. And Jonathan saying yes, watched it and let Google Translate help me too. Well done, Jonathan. Great job, Jerry. To you, Jerry from Jonathan there. Let's go to Daniel. What's your view, Daniel? All this good news at the moment. Is it similar in the world of law?
Well, I haven't seen the news yet today, so I don't have a lot to comment apart from Mark Schminzi is running for president. It seems to be all over the news. That's the only thing that I saw. So we have the expected guy from PSD running for president. So that's basically what I saw the whole day. It was quite a hectic day and busy. As regarding tariffs, well, as you were mentioning, and you did mention my name before, we need to have a calm position. We don't have a strong economy that we can try to fight off tariffs. So I would wish to have a joint position on the EU, but that's a different matter. That's going to be almost impossible.
Right. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for that. I mean, that could be the cultural question tonight, couldn't it? What would we miss from the United States if it gets too expensive? But I don't know. Maybe
wants me to run for president. Nah, I don't think
we
so.
need to keep asking him. Just keep asking him if eventually, or Gilda, we're going to see somebody, and then those autographs will be worth a lot of money.
I'll support Gilda. I'll support Gilda.
All right, fair enough. Gilda's hat has been thrown in the ring, and
no, Daniel. It's Daniel's call, not me.
Okay, all right. The two of you, I'm sure, will come to an agreement, but it must be one of you, okay, for president. One of these days, not just yet, but in time, it will be lovely to see one of you in the top spot, and we can say, yes, do you remember those town hall days? Fantastic. Maybe they'll come and visit us on the town hall. Right, wonderful. Cheers, Daniel. Let's go to Sarah. We've had a Bank of England rate cut, have we not? Today, it's been a busy day in the currency market as well, I suspect.
Yes, that's true. We've I'm not on mute, am I? No.
You're good. Good to see you.
The Bank of England have cut interest rates. It's the third cut really in sort of about 6 months. The rate did drop on the back of it, around about sort of about 1%. So if you were buying 250,000 euros, the difference is about £1,000. Really, a bit similar to the US is that they're a little bit still concerned about growth and about inflation, and that's the sort of things that they're sort of conscious about. They were talking about sort of stagflation. We haven't gone into recession, but it is sort of, the growth is not as good as they would like, and obviously they're keeping an eye on inflation, and that's what kind of going forward we'll see. It really depends how we perform against the Eurozone, who's performing better economically and who cuts interest rates first. So that's kind of what we're looking at. But overall, really, we're still kind of trading within sort of good ranges if you look back at the last sort of 12 months. So it's still a good time. With the US dollar, selling US dollar and buying euros, again, a little bit similar. We've obviously seen strength because the US economy is quite robust. But again, it's still concerns of growth, inflation. And the other thing as well is the market is quite sensitive to news. So obviously anything...
There's a lot of that, isn't there?
It's quite, a lot of announcements.
Yes.
It's very difficult to forecast because you just don't know what's coming.
Do you? You don't from one minute to the next, it feels like at the moment. I don't know if you can, and we know who we're talking about. I don't know if you can keep this up.
Sort of thing.
Yes. Absolutely. And do the markets, does your office reflect that? Is there a sense of volatility and jitteriness about what might be coming at any moment?
Yes,
Really?
absolutely. Because also the US dollar is a safe haven currency. So 1 minute sort of, I think that obviously, 1 minute Trump says about imposing tariffs, say on, kind of the UK, Canada, or wherever. And then the next minute he says, oh, we'll pause it for a month. And then that's positive. So we've gone from a negative 1 minute to a slight positive next minute. So we're sort of, it's very difficult, obviously, as well to forecast that. I mean, no one's got a crystal ball. It's always difficult to forecast any exchange rates, but obviously there's certain things that we can look at. It's data, sentiment, what the Fed is saying, what the ECB is saying, what the Bank of England is saying, and things like that. But as I said, this is a little bit more difficult, and obviously with that brings volatility. So I think the key thing is really sort of looking at where the rates at the moment against sort of historically. Are they, they might have dropped since, say, last week, or improved since last week, but where is that in the grand scheme of things over the last sort of 12 months? And also to bear in mind that if you leave it to the last minute and you need to make a payment, you're restricted to whatever the exchange rate is at that time. Yes. And if it's moved against you, you don't have any choice. So again, some of it is what we're doing is really helping you budget, because you'll know now how much some of these payments are gonna cost you essentially.
Very good. And us consumers can, if I'm using this term correctly, correct me if I'm wrong, but we can hedge a little bit, can't we, and protect ourselves, buy at particular rates, book at particular rates, and have a conversation with somebody at Spartan about that.
Absolutely. The misconception is, some people are thinking, oh, well, I can't make that transfer until I've got a Portuguese bank account. That really isn't the case. You can still be buying your euros. We can hold it on account free of charge for you, very similar to a bank account. You can fix the rate as well, so you're not committing all of the money. If you've got money in higher interest rate earning accounts, wherever they are in the US or UK, we only need 10% to fix the rate. So there's a few options within that you can be taking advantage of the rate if you want to now at this point in time.
All right, so reach out, Expats Portugal at spartanfx.co.uk for your free account with Spartan. Anything else from a personal point of view, Sarah? How's everything going?
It's going okay. I mean, I'm looking forward to the weekend after Italia, but I'm sure they'll mention more about that.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, so you'll be there at Battaglia?
I will, yes.
Excellent. All right, look forward to meeting you and seeing you there. Fantastic. Thanks for being here. So any more questions about currency? There's an observation. Uncertainty and chaos are Trump's hallmark, so it should be an interesting 4 years for the markets, says Jose there. Thank you very much. Oh, and the other question, yes, about Portugal. Has he made an offer for Portugal? Like an Atlantic Riviera, I suppose. I think all we need to do is point to the original, I was going to call it a confrontation. It wasn't a confrontation. But when Marcelo met Trump, if you haven't seen it, I think that will have stayed in the muscle memory of Donald Trump. The day he met Marcelo and that magnificent alpha male handshake that he received when he met the president was superb. Worth watching, and I think that will have stayed in his memory as Portugal is not somewhere to mess about with. Let's just keep it nice and steady, shall we, in our relationship. Very good. Okay, thank you for all your comments. Let's go to João Amaral. Good evening to you. How are you? What's new from the motor industry, João?
Hello, everybody. Good evening.
Olá, boa noite.
So, the news still almost the same as the last week news. European Union is crazy. The red flags are all over the place because of the industry. They continue to think that we should buy electrics. We don't want it. So now they are seeing it, and they will get new measures to make something to get the industry going on again. Because there are plenty of places shut down, productions shut down, and it's really bad on the automotive industry right now. So they are having meetings to see what to do, and of course the internal combustion engines, they will live not forever but long term, because at the moment it's the best option for the middle class and the lower classes. Okay,
I'm always very interested in your analysis with this. The
electrics are the future, but not as fast as they want. So I think that's the news, and this month we will heard something from them, changing the rules and make it more democratic. I think.
And realistic, possibly.
And realistic, yeah.
Okay, Joao, great to have you here this evening. Any questions about purchasing a car here in Portugal? We'll field those questions for Joao. And we're having our motoring special as well. The webinar next week at 7:30 is around motoring, where I suspect Joao will be as well. And that graph earlier on with the Iberian miracle, I'm sure part of Germany's economic difficulties at the moment are based around their automotive industry. Joao, where do you see the heart of motor manufacturing being in Europe? I mean, because they make cars in Spain, don't they? It's part of the Spanish economy, of course. Where do you see cars being made in Europe in the future, if at all? I suppose it would be a part of that question.
I think the factories that are now installed will. Well, I don't think that new factories will be made. Okay.
Interesting. Right.
So the factories that are working now can be changed to new to electrics or something like that.
Yes.
That has been done in Fiat factories in Poland. They were making internal combustion engines, and now they are making some electrics. Also here in Spain, in Vigo, they do electrics and combustion. Okay, they are changing the line to adapt to make electrics also. And I think some of the factories will shut down, but they will be by the Chinese. To the Chinese to produce cars here in Europe because of the tariffs.
Yes, that's an interesting turnaround, possibly then, isn't it?
Yeah.
And will Portugal ever return to car manufacturing again in any serious way? Because Portugal has made cars in the past. People forget this, don't they? There have been some legendary cars built in Portugal, but you don't see that happening ever again.
No. I don't think so. I think there will be no more factories. I think Auto Europa will do it for a long time. I think they will produce electric car near this year or next year. Okay. The Stellantis factory in Mangualde will continue to work. Okay. But I don't think any more brands will come to Portugal. At least it can be a factory of batteries, okay, but not the cars.
To supply ancillary industry rather
than
direct
maybe batteries, but not cars. I think.
Fascinating. And has our Portuguese CEO of Stellantis stepped down now, or does he still have his job just about? Because he was
I hope not. I hope not.
Oh, was he? He's still the leader, is he, of Stellantis?
I hope not.
You hope he's going?
I think he doesn't, but I hope not. He killed all the brands that he buy.
Wow.
He killed Opel, he killed Fiat, he killed Alfa Romeo, he killed Citroën. The only brand that is more or less good now, it's Peugeot. The rest of the brands, he killed them all. It's all people think that is a great brain and things like that. For me, it's the worst thing that can happen to the brands that he bought.
Well, I never. Okay, so no love lost there between you fellow Portuguese men. You're not happy with his performance.
For me, he can disappear for all, and bye-bye.
Wow. Okay, you heard it first here on the Town Hall.
Yeah.
From Expats Portugal.
Very bad. Very bad.
Very interesting, Joao. All your analysis of the motor industry. Always great to talk to you. Right. Yeah. Any questions about buying a car? Join us for next week's webinar, of course, at 7:30, and ask Joao this evening here. Derek, thank you for that. Change of Fortunes: Europe's thriving south and stagnant north. A good article in the FT. That's great as well. And Jonathan Booth, I think our first, yes, because we are here answering questions, of course, as well, aren't we? Thank you, Jonathan Booth, for this one. I heard that the new NHR rules about professions is broad. How difficult or easy is the application? Is it possible to get a 20% flat rate on all income for 10 years? Are there limits on both minimum and maximum? What do you say on this, Gilda? Nothing's changed, is it, that we're aware of?
No, actually, we the old NHR system, as we knew, has come to an end.
Right.
And now there is a new one, a new system that is being put in place. It's not 100% regulated yet, but Jonathan, I have to say that it's much more difficult than the previous one to be eligible to. Why? Because this only applies for the income that you earn in Portugal, and you have to combine your skills and your job description with some requirements from the company that you are working for.
Right. Okay. All right. And
in Portugal, this company needs to be in Portugal.
But you can handle that, right? If somebody does want to take that route. Okay, so there you go, Jonathan. All right. Questions, please. Expats Portugal Premium members, do ask them in the chat over here on Zoom. In the meantime, let me just have a quick look at what's going on over on YouTube. JMC is over there. Good evening to you. And we've also got Gilda, finance teacher, 123, says your article in Vision is great. I wonder why you didn't mention anything about the automatic renewal of permits proposal by the PS. Was that not available to you to answer to at the time? And what is finance teacher 123 referring to there? And is that likely to happen, automatic renewal of permits as requested by PS there, Gilda?
Actually, I didn't have the comment on that because they didn't mention that measure, so I could not comment something that they didn't brought to the discussion, at least at the time that I was asked to write that article.
I thought that might be a matter of timing.
Yeah, so it was only about family reunification, job seeker visa, and how to speed up other types of working visas.
Yeah.
And how to convert some temporary types of visa into residency permits. So these were the 4 topics that were brought up by the PS party and that I was asked to comment on.
And we can expect more of that. I think my cultural question, my dream team question tonight is what, and we'll come back to this, but what publication or TV channel would you like to be on, and what would you say given the opportunity? So I'll let you just ferment that for a moment. You included, Jerry, as well on that one this evening. We've also got Jonathan asking, what are the self-employed tax deductions like compared to the USA? So you must get this, Gilda, people coming to Portugal and considering, if they're still working, whether to start a company or not, to get deductions and to have any advantages that might come from incorporating and starting a company in Portugal. What do you tell them as part of that conversation? And specifically, what are the self-employed tax deductions like in Portugal compared to the USA?
Well, I had to tell you to book a consultation with Pedro.
Pedro, yes.
Because this has a lot to be analyzed.
Right.
What is the type of activity? How much are you going to earn per year? To see if it's beneficial to incorporate a company or not.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Jerry, as a company owner here in Portugal, obviously, do you have anything to add to that perspective on whether to incorporate and start a business here?
Well, I certainly think it's an area to look at. I think because as company owners, there are benefits, for example, in taking payment via dividend rather than taking payment via salary, for instance, and that has some tax benefits, as well as the possibility to offset other costs against the business. So it's definitely, but it's one for Pedro. I'm forever saying this to people, go and talk to Pedro. If you have a business and there's a possibility you could layer a business over the top of it in Portugal, that could really be worth doing. But talk to Pedro in the first instance, and if it's still yes, then talk to Daniel and get the business sorted and get the business registered.
Fair enough. Yes, and Daniel can help you with that incorporation. Thanks, Jerry, on that. And funnily enough, Jonathan Booth, yes, I booked a consult with Pedro an hour ago. Well done. You've done the right thing there. Fantastic. And you can find EI and Pedro in the Expats Portugal business directory, of course. Oh, Nancy's asking, what are Pedro's contact details? We should have those on the screen every Thursday evening, especially when he's not here. So I'll have a little dig around and find you the contact details inside the business directory. Sarah, you're posting in the chat as well. And as we said before, extremely volatile time for the US dollar. What will people see in their free copy of Moving Money to Portugal guide? Could you share a bit more about that?
Yeah, it's just extra tips, even sort of just to get you thinking about it. Things like, for example, is there anything that you need to do before you move? Sometimes people find it when they come to Portugal and then maybe moving larger amounts, there's more authorization needed. They need to fill in a form, they need an international card reader, and that has to be done in branch in, say, America, for example, and you're here in Portugal. Some banks in the US, for example, have limits on how much you can move. Certainly online banking does, but one client, I think it was about 70,000 US dollars every 30 days. Also just things like, sending money to a third party that you've not paid to before. There's tips around, not just, we talk a lot about obviously the exchange rate, because things are coming out in the news as hot topics. But there's a lot around the process and things that you can do just to try and help make that easier and really send your money safely and securely.
Very good, thank you. So to get that, get in touch with you. I think you put Expats Portugal. That was the email address that I gave before. expatsportugal@spartanfx.co.uk. All right, going back over to YouTube and finance teacher. Yeah, you have Philippa working on your behalf from which is great. And GM in Azambuja. I think that's probably a General Motors factory as well that was operational in Portugal at some point. Bit of a quiet night, has to be said, on questions. So I think I'll come back to the panel and talk. Given that we've been in the media, Jerry's been in the media on the TV here in Portugal, and Gilda's been in Visial magazine. Gilda, where next? Who would you like to be interviewed by, and what would you say to them at this? What I think is quite a good time to be coming to or living in Portugal and its fortunes at the moment.
Well, I know that I have already some interviews that are coming.
Oh, really? They're already in the pipeline?
Yeah, they're already in the pipeline, but I won't mention it right now. But what I would like to do, and what I'm starting, that when the media asks you to comment on something,
yes,
and you want to give your professional and technical opinion,
yes,
and then they start to push you to some political opinion.
yes.
I had no idea before I got into this, or at least I had no idea how much pressure they would put on this. But every time you write an article or you give an interview, you need to say, this is my technical point of view.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
it's not good that I am with this party or against this party. This is my technical point of view.
Yes.
So having this said, what I would like to do is that I would like to comment migration issues on SIC Notícias, which is only informative news, which I think is credible.
Not too many political angles there. So it's probably quite a good thing for foreigners to watch from that point of view as well. Is that right?
Yes, although it's all in Portuguese, but I
Never
would
mind. No,
I would like to give my opinion in a technical point of view,
yes,
and free of media pressure to be right wing, left wing, connected
yes,
with this, connected with that.
Very good.
Yes, so that's something that I would like to do.
Okay, very
in
good.
the near future, not.
Yeah, and you have to be careful, don't you? I guess when a journalist says to you, so what you're saying is then that you think Chega's ideas are really good. and you don't pick up on that and say that is not what I'm saying actually. Okay, so you beware of that. Okay, we'll come back to you.
You need to. It's very difficult. You need to keep yourself on track and be really focused, because they are going to try to push you to any political side, and
Very interesting.
It's terrible. That's not the point.
So media training for everybody tonight. Then I'll come back to the rest of the dream team on that a little bit later on, because Jonathan's got the idea now. You've basically got the dream team to yourself, Jonathan, although we do have a question now from Rebecca as well. 18 days from a Portugal scouting trip, and I have a brain in a whirlwind of questions. Please, that's what we're here for tonight, Jonathan. Share them with us. Sorry if I have lots of questions. No need to apologize. I would value suggestions on exploring a budget for life in Portugal. I'm aware of Numbio, but there are other resources. And Expatistan came up on the webinar last week, I think, which is similar to Numbio. You might want to look at that. Thanks to Holborn Assets for that one. And how common is it to drive an EV in Portugal? And what kind of cost for a vehicle about 2 years old? Is it better from a tax perspective to buy a used rather than new car? This is perfect for you, João Amaral. And Jerry might chip in and mention next week's webinar as well. So João, how common is it to drive an EV in Portugal? And what kind of cost for a vehicle of around 2 years of age? Is it better from a tax perspective to buy used rather than new?
Well, I was writing, but this is easier.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is easier. So at the moment, Portugal is the country in all Europe that sells more EVs. Okay, it's the other countries are down. The sales are very down on EVs, but here we are selling a lot. I was looking for the numbers, and the petrol cars sold 22 and something %, and the EVs almost the same, 21 almost. Okay, so it's almost the same, the EVs and the petrol cars in our new market. So having an EV in Portugal is not a problem. Okay, they are all over the place. Our charges net, it's one of the best of the Europe also. In my opinion, to have an EV, I think you should have a charger at home, because out of home it can be expensive, more expensive. And the real problem for me is that when you will charge, you will never know the price that you will pay. It's a problem that is being solved. It's trying to be solved, but it's not solved yet.
Okay.
So if in the same charger, you can be charged 10 euros now and 5 euros within an hour. Okay. It's amazing. Never the same price. Okay, so it's better to have a charger at home, in my opinion. But driving an EV in Portugal, it's no problem. Okay, you have chargers in McDonald's, in all the supermarkets. They are all over the place.
More and more all the time. You just see them being installed all over the place, don't you? At the moment?
Yeah. You shouldn't have no problems. In terms of taxation, the 2 years old car will be less expensive than new, but as the government give I don't know the name, they give incentives to companies. Okay, if you have a company, maybe you get a new car, less expensive than a used one for you in person.
Yeah.
Okay. So we have to see your situation.
Yes.
Okay.
Indeed.
To see what is best for you.
Yeah, very good. And again, that's connected with owning a company and the advantages that come from being a company owner and the relief you might get. And I imagine you could reach out to Jerry and to Nuno, who are very knowledgeable on this matter as well. And I imagine this will be picked up in our webinar for next week as well. Sandra, in fact, offering the contact of Nuno there. He'll be happy about that. He drives a Tesla and will be happy to share that experience with you. So not just about insurance, but Jonathan, a view from an EV owner here in Portugal as well. As for your budget for life in Portugal, Gilda, that's a proper it depends question, isn't it? It depends where you are. But Casa Portuguesa will be able to pick up that, wouldn't they? And have a chat with Jonathan about different budgets in different parts of the country.
Yes, of course. We can do that. And the girls, they already have some type of questionnaire where they have the values of groceries, for instance, in Lisbon and Porto, and you can just drop us a message and book a consultation, and they will give you some information about this. And they can also help you to choose a place according to your requirements and your budget.
Yeah, there you go, Jonathan. We've also got, who was that? Nancy saying, I'd love to import my EV there. Would that be difficult? Possibly. It's the best answer I could give on that. Jerry, what do you think? You're grimacing.
Well, it certainly is possible. Yes. Where are we coming from? Is it US?
Yeah. We need a bit more information, Nancy, on that, where you're coming from.
Where are you, Nancy?
Yeah, I've not heard of anyone. Oh, from Seattle. I don't know of anyone who's
okay. Well, that's just it. Just gets more expensive then. I looked today to ship a car. An average price to ship a car from New York to Lisbon, just to ship it, we're talking around $3,000 minimum. From Seattle, we probably double that. Okay.
Yep.
Now, all you've done is ship it. Then you've got to convert it because the car will have to comply with European standards, not American standards. And it'll be silly little things like some of the lens colors will be different and things like that. So we'd have to check all of that too. So it might just work out extremely cost prohibitive to do that. But the main thing is talk to us first and check it before you commit to anything.
Yes, because Joao, you've talked of this world of pain where people have embarked on the process and not researched it and ended up in quite a difficult situation. And Jose, Jonathan, cars are ridiculously expensive here. Be prepared and buy from a legit dealer, not from an individual seller, who is, of course, Joao Amaral, the legit dealer and helper with this. What would you add to that, Joao, on importing an EV?
It's probably better than importing a combustion engine car because the taxes are really different. If you import an EV, as the importation tax is related to the CO2, okay, and EVs doesn't have CO2, the price is very low, okay. But as Jerry said, the cost of shipping the car and making the changes and things like that. Maybe will not worth it.
Yeah,
but we have to see case by case.
Of course. Oh, that's the.
And
that's
what
the point
car
here.
is that? If that is a car that sells here, okay, maybe you shouldn't get the car here. If there is a car that doesn't sell in Portugal, okay, maybe you should get it here, but you have another problem that as the car doesn't sell here, we have to have the COC, the certificate of authenticity, and things that will make the process slower and more difficult.
Yes. Okay. Thank you for that, Joao. Very interesting. Go on.
Tune in next Thursday at 7:30 Lisbon time, and we'll be going through all this, myself and Joao. So we go through all of the pitfalls and the pros and the cons and so on of what's the best thing to do.
It's the annual Expats Portugal Motoring webinar. Always a very popular one and a good one to host for me. I love finding out more. So thank you, Jerry and Joao there. And Jose, EVs are great, but we bought a hybrid that allows us to drive most of most of the time on electric power, but doesn't leave us out if stranded if we run out of EV. It's a good choice, I think, the hybrid, isn't it? No, it's not a good choice.
Well, I mean, I don't know what this. I've had an EV now for coming up for 3 years. I've never run out of power. I've never had a problem getting it charged. There are chargers. At the last count, I think there were nearly 7,000 chargers in public chargers in Portugal. Plus, as João said, I have a home charger. It's just not an issue.
Okay, interesting. I suppose belt and braces from that point of view. And
well, it's a bit like saying, does your mobile phone run out of power because you can't get?
Yes, okay, fair enough. Thank you very much for that, Joe. Proud EV owner there. Right, Mia, thank you for popping your hand up there. And just by way of an introduction to you, I think you've got an interesting story here. You're headed to Madeira April 25th. Always a good time to be in Portugal. Not to get things done, but to have a good party. Does anyone have an excellent USA Portugal accountant recommendation located in the USA? Mia, do you want to unmute and ask these questions yourself?
Hi guys, nice to see y'all. I think I met some of y'all Saturday at our social hour.
Oh, excellent.
I'm back again.
Good to see you. Good to see you. Fantastic. Yeah. So yes, with the accountant recommendation. Sorry,
it's been really helpful.
Please go ahead. I'm sorry, I'm talking over you. Carry on.
I think there's a bit of a lag here. Apologies. So we own companies here in the United States, and we're heading on over to Portugal. And we need somebody to handle our taxes and stuff for both the company and then personally. And we were looking for any recommendations to anybody who does both U.S. and Portuguese taxes, because we'll keep the U.S. companies for a little while while still over to Portugal.
Right. Gilda, should we pick up on that? Pedro's your man on this side. Oh, Leia, I wonder if you might mute up for us for just a moment. Yes, we've got Pedro on the Portuguese side, but there aren't people who do both, Mia. However, Gilda will tell you how this can work for you.
Okay. Yes. So, Mia, you can book a consultation with us, with Pedro, because he's our tax expert, and he will give you an overview how it works, and then he can be in touch with your accountant from the United States, and you will have a conversation, the three of you, so you can sort it out, and he will explain how it works in the Portuguese point of view, and then your accountant is going to explain how it works in the US point of view, and then you will work together so that you can have a combined solution that it's going to be compliant in both countries.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, we're actually already working with Carolina. We got introduced by Jerry on Monday. We've been working with her. So I guess just ask her to
ask her to connect with Pedro.
Pedro, perfect. Okay, awesome. And you guys can provide like the tax. I probably should book another call with her to keep going on that. But thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. I'll get
just drop her an email, and then she will tell you who is the best person for you to deal with in the company for any of those issues.
Perfect. Awesome.
Mia, it sounds like you're having a great time with Expats Portugal. Is that right?
Yeah, you know what? I discovered you guys way too late though. We've been working on this for like 6 months, and we only joined like a month ago. And I feel like all of the questions we felt we couldn't get answered, like we were ChatGPTing and like Googling everywhere, we're just like literally sitting and waiting in your group for us.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll help you all the way now from here on in, okay?
Yes. Thank you so much. I mean, you guys have already been amazing.
Wonderful. Lovely to hear that. Thank you. Thank you for being here this evening. Much appreciated. Right. Aloha. So you're in Hawaii, did you say? And you're making the island life comparison with Hawaii and Madeira.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I spent the majority of my adulthood on Oahu, and I'm on the mainland. It's not so bad. I'm in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, staring at the ocean, but there's nothing like an island bottom. I gotta get back.
Brilliant. Okay, I think you'll have a great time in Madeira on April 25th. Fantastic. Great to meet you. And also from Hawaii, and an American scientist, university professor, and I work with folks in Azores. I've been interested in moving to Portugal, says, I think it's Bex. Yeah, Bex here. Especially the Azores. Just wondering, best routes for visas, best working options. It's going to be the same, isn't it? These are Portuguese visas we're talking about in general, Gilda. Nothing particularly difficult about the Azores. But a working visa, probably the D8, the digital nomad, if that's suitable for Bex, do you think?
We will have to see.
Yeah.
If he has a job that he can done remotely, then yes, we are talking about a D8 visa.
Yep.
But if he wants to find a job in Portugal, we might be thinking about the job seeker visa.
Yes. Okay. So there you go. That's Becky there. Thank you very much, Gilda, on that. And back to Jonathan. We're running out of time now. First of all, I didn't think there were many questions. Now there's quite a few. Typical, I suppose. We've got Jonathan. Thank you for the answers so far. I have more. Here's a question for the panel. We are considering the following areas of Portugal in 3 weeks. This might be our last question, actually. We can make this a cultural question because it's parts of Portugal. Before we go there, then, thank you very much to Diana as well, who says, apropos of nothing, I think this is really great that you've sent us this, Diana, except to lift our spirits and Portuguese pride. That little bit further this evening, a Portuguese artist won Best Mural in the world. The videos showing how he makes his art are amazing, and there's a link to that. So yeah, it was great to scoop that top spot, and I think quite a few Portuguese murals were in the world top 50, so thank you for that, Diana. Back to Jonathan then, and we're going to find out the favourite places of our Dream Team panel tonight. We have ruled out the far north, as we now live in Oregon, and the north has more rain than even Oregon. So here are our 3 areas. I'll go through the whole panel. 1, Alcobaça, Caldas and Nazaré. Let's call that Silver Coast. 2, Tavira or VRSA. Let's call that Tavira and VRSA. And then Lulé and surrounding area. There's a carnival coming up in early March, actually, in Lulé. Not the most touristy area, but also maybe Portimão. So let's go to you, Daniel, because you've already answered this. Tavira, you think is best for Jonathan?
Yeah, for sure. I love it. The Tavira Island is really great. You just take a boat, you go to an island without any cars. I would take Tavira at any time. And it's a really beautiful area and not as touristy as you would see in other places of Algarve that he does mention as well. So
Yes.
Lolé, for me, would be out of the equation. Tavira for sure. Nothing against Alcobaça, but it's a bit more colder. And if it wasn't for work-related purposes, and I would be free to choose the place that I would be living in Portugal, I would either choose Madeira or the Algarve because of the weather.
Well, there you go. Daniel, thanks for being here tonight. That's really helpful, I'm sure, to Jonathan there. Let's go to the Winsurance team. Pedro Neves, what do you think of those choices there? Silver Coast or Algarve?
I'm not a big fan of Algarve because it has a lot of people already. And it's so much crowded. So for me, it would be the other option, Silver Coast for sure.
Silver Coast, all right. I'll see you there. Fantastic. Let's go to Sandra Costa on that as well.
Hello.
Hi, Sandra. Good to see you.
Well, I love Jerez. If I could, I live there.
Oh, you want to send him up to the north with the
yes.
rain? Okay.
Yes,
all right.
it's much more beautiful for me.
It is beautiful. Jerez for you. What about thanks, Sandra. Good to see you tonight. Amelia, what about you? I can't stand the suspense, Amelia.
Sorry.
No problem. How are you?
Well, I appreciate Algarve, but not so much. But the Vicente Coast in Alentejo, it's a good choice.
Yeah, this is about to happen, Jonathan. But you're going to hear about
Zambujeira do Mar, Porto Covo.
Very nice. Okay.
Yes, Odmira.
Yes, there you go. Some of the Alentejo coast there. Thank you, Amelia, for being here tonight. We've got to move on and get the opinions of other Dream Team members. What about you, Sarah Davey? If you had to choose between Algarve or the Silver Coast, and you know I live on the Silver Coast, Sarah, and you've said how nice it is here. No pressure.
Well, I would say from where I've been in the Algarve, I've been to Lulé and I've been to Portimão and I've been to Villarreal, San Antonio in the sort of off season. And I personally preferred Villarreal, San Antonio in sort of that way. It was where it's a bit close to Spain that was quite nice. And again, it was off season, so it wasn't as busy. I've not been there when it's been really busy in the summer, so I don't know what that's like.
Right.
But yes, if I had a choice, a bit like Daniel, then I probably would move a little bit further up north, but Silver sort of coast way, I would say.
Good answer.
I mean, whenever I visited Silver Coast in sort of winter, or even was it November, we sat outside in the sun.
Of course we were, whether we liked it or not. Fantastic, Sarah. Thank you very much indeed. Thanks for being here this evening. SpartanFX.co.uk, Expats Portugal at SpartanFX.co.uk if you want to open an account. Jonathan, I think this is I hope it's helping. Let's go to João Amaral, our penultimate answer. João Amaral, which would you go for here?
So, you cannot compare United States with Portugal. Portugal is such a small country,
yes,
that in 3 weeks you can go from north to south. So you should visit the Silver Coast, the Algarve, the Alentejo. You will have time for everything in 3 weeks.
There you go, Jonathan. And I'm so sorry, Alexandra Pinto, good evening to you from GIR. I didn't see you there, but at least you can tell us which you prefer, whether it's going to be the Algarve or the Silver Coast now.
Oh, hi. Hello.
Hi,
good evening, all. Well, I do like Algarve very much, but more not really in June, July, and August, which is the peak season in summertime, which is really, really crowded. I like Costa Vicentina. I wouldn't mind to go a little bit more north, like Ericeira, a little bit more north. But Algarve is great. Like even in September, it is really very nice. Most of the people will go in August when the schools are closed and the kids are in summer holidays.
Yes.
But Costa Vicentina, as Amelia said, it is pretty much, it's very close to Lisbon. It is really lovely, very
nice.
Another
vote there for the Alentejo coast. Thank you, Alexander. And of course, you can help people with the importation of these EVs that we were talking about before.
Yes, absolutely. We can work that out, and well, I'm more than welcome to answer any questions that you might have.
I'm so sorry I didn't see you earlier.
That's
forgive
okay.
me.
That's fine.
We'll hope to see you again on the town hall on the Dream Team session here.
Yes,
so finally, then
for sure.
I think.
Thank you.
Thanks, Alexandra. Finally, then, Gilda, your ruling vote on this, I think, possibly. Jonathan, listen.
Jonathan, I think that you just got more confused, because out of the places that you mentioned, everyone just gave you more places. So I think that now you have more spots to check. But in my opinion, from those places that you mentioned, the one that has my heart, as well as Daniel's, is Tavira.
Oh, really? Okay. Very interesting. Right. And what was the three? Oh, you're coming. Okay. Well, the simple answer is to extend it for 4 or 5 weeks, Jonathan. Okay. So there's your answer. I hope that helps. Thanks, Jonathan. Thanks to all of you for all of your questions this evening. And a big thanks to the Dream Team. See some of you on Saturday in Battaglia. Over to you, Jerry, for the closing of this session.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Carl. And I actually used to live in Tavira, so I know it quite well. And I left it, but I do agree with Daniel. I mean, for it's beautiful on the islands, and in fact, one of our forthcoming events, I think the one we're holding in June, will be in Tavira. And instead of doing the usual walk around the town and there's the churches and the bridges and all that stuff, I'm trying to see if we can organize a nature trip so we can go out in a boat and do a little bit of bird watching and things like that. So keep an eye on our events calendar for that. But Jonathan, we've had this discussion. You're not listening.
You're in so much trouble.
Lovely places. Tavira, Villarreal, San Antonio, they're smashing places, but they're not Portuguese. If you want Portugal, you've got to come up to Central and Silver Coast. That's where the real Portuguese, that's the real people live.
He forgot you were here, Jerry, I think, didn't he?
Okay.
No, I wanted a diverse opinion.
Okay, you got it. You certainly got that, Jonathan.
You know, Jonathan, the simple answer is it depends, right?
There you go. Yeah, if ever we can't do the Dream Team town hall one night, we'll just put a banner up on YouTube saying it depends. All right, I'll come back next week.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So, for anyone who's joining us on Saturday, we're off to Battaglia, where we're going to learn a little bit about the monastery and the famous battles that took place in Battaglia, which is where the name comes from. And then we will have a nice get together, and followed by dinner. And I think some people are staying over in a wonderful hotel that we've managed to choose. So looking forward to that. Carl, you'll be there. Sarah's coming. Daniel's coming. I think it sort of covers. I'm not sure who else of the Dream Team. Then next Thursday at the earlier slot at 7:30, Joao and I will be discussing cars and buying cars and driving licenses and all of that stuff in Portugal, and then followed by this wonderful town hall session at 9 o'clock. We also have an earlier webinar on Thursday about golden visas. I don't know the time of that at the moment because our site is temporarily down and I can't go in and check the time, but it will be on our events calendar as soon as we get our site back up.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jerry. Sorry to keep you, everybody. It's 5 past, but it was Jonathan's fault.
Sorry, I want to say one more thing about the Silver Coast. Isn't the Silver Coast where all the people that live with silver hair?